Does God really care about drugs? Does it really matter to God if we put drugs into our body? The infinite God who created the universe, who inhabits eternity, happens to also care very much about us individually. We'd never be able to come to a knowledge of that or an understanding of that apart from the revelation of God, apart from the declared truth about God that has been given to us in the Bible. Without the Bible, all we are doing is making stuff up. But drugs, cocaine, methamphetamine, marijuana, all these things did not exist in the time of the Bible. There may have been hallucinogenic drugs that the witch doctors would use as part of their arts during the days of the Bible. Witch doctors unanimously were condemned by the scriptures and were told for we who believe in God to avoid at all costs going to those who would use witchcraft to try and get some sort of revelation from some sort of demon. But the principle of using drugs is something that we can learn about from the Bible. We can see how drunkenness is preached against in the Bible, and how drunkenness is something that we know we are called to avoid. That being said, the idea of drunkenness is that we lose our inhibitions, that we lose our ability to control the way that we think, the way that we act, the way that we respond to the events that are around us. Drugs do this to us on a much more heightened level than simple intoxication does. Regardless of the health effects that may be present during the consumption of alcohol or of drugs, those health effects are not the main concern about God. The main concern of God is that we lose our inhibitions, that we lose our ability to control the way that we think. It's that aspect that needs to be avoided. And again, I'm not talking about the medical use of drugs or alcohol. I would have no problems taking drugs or alcohol if there was a medical reason to do it. If you needed to just do a surgery, there was no drugs around. I'd be the first, if it was my leg that was being chopped off, I'd be the first one to drink as much of that bottle of whiskey as I can so that I could black out and just completely have no recollection of that procedure. I have no argument against using drugs or alcohol in the context of medical use. But when it comes to the recreational use of just using alcohol to get drunk, when it comes to the recreational use of using drugs to get high, there are clear biblical prohibitions against abusing alcohol to the point where we lose our ability to think straightly.